Hey everybody, down here because I'm about to show you something real quick. This will be quicker than the previous video. Day 7 was pretty long with all the stuff that was just kind of thrown in there. This is day 8. You see I don't have my brace on. I'm starting to walk around without the brace, taking my time because things are still unstable, and very weak. That's really the source of a lot of the instability. Have my cane here, but I'm getting around okay. There's still a lot of heat in the joint, but I find it's staying under control as long as I keep moving things around gently, and I'm kind of alternating between stuff that requires effort, contracting my quad and everything, and the more passive stuff. So the passive range of motion work, working on my flexion and extension, and kind of gently massaging things as well, all of that. So when one becomes too much, I take a break, I do the other, and then I just kind of rest it and don't do anything for a while, and I'm alternating between these. I have gotten to a point where I can bend my knee enough that I can actually kind of sit almost like a normal person. So I'm comfortably getting close to 90 degrees. We're going to measure it next time I'm in the clinic, and we'll see if I can beat 90, if I can break that. But and that'll be this coming Wednesday, so that'll be in 4 more days. Today is Saturday. But I'm getting there. And the fact that I'm able to kind of bend my knee a lot more is really giving me a lot more options in terms of ways I can lie down, ways I can sit. It's making a lot of things easier, and I'm gaining more confidence in my ability to actually create force with my quads and all that. And that's what I'm going to show you here. So, again, I am using this. Let me move this over a little bit or something. Give me a moment. I should have moved this before I started the recording. There we go. That's a little bit better. Just a bit. All right. And I know part of the bookshelf is blocking it, but that's just the only place I was really able to set things. So if I back up here, one of the things I'm working on doing is extending my knee against a little bit of resistance. So I don't have proper straight leg raise kind of stuff going on, but I'm getting there. So, for example, let's see if I can show you. And this does hurt. Don't get me wrong. This still does hurt. But I'm able to bring my leg forward, and notice my knee's not bending yet. It's not perfectly straight, but it's not moving into more flexion. I get to hear it kind of hurts, so I'm going to back off. But I'm doing a lot of these to get myself eventually up to the point where I can have my leg totally horizontal, like lie back on my back and just lift my leg up. And that's where it's the hardest. When I'm directly horizontal, and where basically gravity is pulling on my tibia or pulling on my lower leg at a right angle. I'm not going to get into any more of the mechanics than that, but that is pretty difficult. So I'm going to get there, but just this is good progress. And I'm actually able to put some weight onto this leg even without the brace. When I am walking around in my brace, if I'm just around my apartment, I'm usually not locking the brace anymore. I am locking it, putting the brace on and locking it when I go outside because there are just more variables out there and I want to make sure I'm safe. I'm typically just walking around with the cane or one crutch if I'm using assistance. I can walk a little bit without any assistance here. Okay? Obviously I'm waddling. It's not great. But progress, and I'm also working on a little bit of squatting, stuff like that. So, progress, right? I'll show you a couple of things lying down, little knee bendy stuff, and kind of where that looks, where that's at, and that'll end day 8. But thank you if you watched this far. I appreciate all the any interest from any of you folks out there on the interwebs. More to come. Hey folks, so this is the other part that I just said I was going to do for day 8. So here's where I basically am. Now I still have to use my hands a little bit to help with lifting my leg up, but even with stuff like this, I am trying to contract my quads in order to provide some of the lift or some of the stability for the knee joint and lifting my tibia here. So it's not just a totally dead leg. I am contracting stuff. I still need my hands though to do bigger movements with my leg. But I wanted to show you, I mean, you can kind of see already, this doesn't hurt at all, having this much bend, and the angle's a little off, a little foreshortening maybe because I'm not totally perpendicular to the line of sight of the camera. But I might be bent to about 60 degrees right now, and it's okay. And if you watched the previous video, you probably saw the change in range of motion as we started finally working on my flexion. I'd been avoiding it up to this point, or up to yesterday, largely because I didn't want to rip anything here, and there was a lot of pressure, but we're making progress. And the more I do it, the less pressure there is, because we're starting to get rid of some of the swelling. You might be able to tell there's some bruising here that I don't think was there before. There's some on the other side as well. Just kind of wrapping around, and I think that's just an artifact of bringing out some of the swelling and, you know, all that junk. But I can actively pull my heel back, but they don't want me doing a whole lot of hamstring stuff right now. So instead, and this isn't a perfect thing, my old brown couch here is not perfect. It's not ideal, but let's see if I can do this here. I am getting a little bit, and I have a band over there I could probably use as well. I'm just going to use this big old hunk of blanket, thread it through here, trying to just pull my foot back basically, and bend my knee. That's basically what we're doing. So it's kind of like a heel slide, bringing it back. There's a little tension in my knee right now, or I say tension, the feeling of tightness in my knee joint, but I can eventually bring it back a little bit more. And if that doesn't work, or I don't want to do it that way, I can just kind of grab my leg and passively pull it back. And what I mean by that is I'm not using my knee muscles to flex my knee, just using my arms. Let me move my other leg out of the way. So I'm getting closer to 90. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there, and they want me at least at 110. So there we are. I also recently came up with a little way to work on my knee flexion while I'm getting into or out of the bath, actually. I was sitting on the edge of it and basically let my foot sit on the floor like I'm just sitting, so my knees were kind of bent, and doing kind of a dip, lowering my body and raising my body, and letting my body weight actually bend my knee, and just trying to let my leg go limp. Got to be careful not to go too deep into that, but it's something. So here we are. We're getting some motion. Anyway, I'm going to work on some more of that later. I'm going to play with some implements, bands, and whatnot. The only other thing I'm going to show you right now is that I've also been doing some quad set kind of stuff. And again, I know there's a curve, kind of a convex thing going on with my cushion here. But essentially contracting my quad, you should be able to see that. It's a lot better than it was a few days ago. We did some electrical stimulation, and we did just some active plain old exercises and other stuff yesterday. And you saw some of that if you saw the video. But there you are. And what I'm trying to do, I often use my other leg at the same time, but I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to block the view, is contracting and trying to push my leg down into the cushion a little bit and get some of my extension back. I am having pain here in the joint when I work on my knee extension, so we'll see how that all works. That could have to do with some asymmetrical muscle stuff going on that's yanking my knee one way versus another. So maybe there's more force on the medial or inside portion of my knee than on the lateral portion. I don't know, but that could be some of what's going on. We'll see if that lingers or if we're able to get around that. So I'm working on some of that, and I'm trying not to use my hamstrings to pull my leg down or pull my knee down. I'm really just trying to contract my quad and straighten my knee, and in so doing, my knee ends up going down into the cushion. I'm not great at it. I am using my hamstring a little bit most of the time, but there it is. And if I just want to relax and rest, I can turn all the muscles off, or not engage the muscles, I should say, and just kind of move things back and forth and keep things flowing and moving through the joint. And that sometimes feels kind of good. There we are. Oh, and one last thing. I am also noticing that I have gotten some a little bit of peeling starting on my skin, which is often normal after a bunch of swelling that you have in a joint or in a tissue. Once the swelling starts to go down substantially, well, the skin kind of contracts or retracts, and so you can get peeling. If you've had surgery, you may have experienced that. So I think that's a good sign. The swelling is starting to go down. There's still a lot in the joint, but it feels different. I can more easily feel the bones underneath. I can feel a little bit of the structure of the joint underneath that swelling more easily and with less pain, though my fibular head still hurts like hell. And again, if you caught that piece of the footage from yesterday's video, you'll know it still very much hurts. So anyway, this has run long enough. I will continue to update you folks and post this for anybody who wants to see it. But thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.